What a headline, ladies and gentlemen. No more at Chelsea. Club hire famous All Blacks manager to set new culture. Mentality coach, mental coach. We're going to talk about this, and I'll give you the entire sides, all sides of the coin on this particular matter. Once again, the banchoed Man City have screwed up. Many charges laid on them. This time, I think they're in deep trouble. And Jesse Marsch as well, sacked by Leeds. So much to talk about. Don't forget, there's actually also Luis Enrique. There's some rumors about him getting linked with Chelsea too. It's mad. It's mad. All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Lots to talk about today. Firstly, we're going to talk about this mentality coach, breeding successful mentality. We're going to talk about the links with Luis Enrique. And I want to touch up on something Yunus said. I'm sure you guys would have seen his video yesterday talking about long-termism with a manager. You know, is it really a fantasy? And like, are we looking at projects and process in a sense that once we get over the hurdle, then that's it. It's forever going to be sustainable. Is that a misinterpreted concept or a misunderstood concept? So we're going to look at that, and then right at the end, we're going to touch up on Man City and Leeds as well, sacking Jesse Marsch. So it'll be quite interesting. Let's get on with this. Check this headline. This is from Matt Law, who dropped the article literally not that long ago. No more D heads at Chelsea. Club hire famous All Blacks manager to set new culture. Story with Charlie Felix. This is the personnel that we have hired. Another new hiring. Literally, we are moving mountains for Graham Potter to be successful at Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea have hired Gilbert Enoka, a mental skills coach who has worked with the New Zealand Rugby team for the last 15 years on a short-term consultancy-based role to help create a winning culture. Short-term, just remember, it's only for a short term. To help create a winning culture. Further, this article goes to say, I think PY has it, Gilbert Enoka, we look for early warning signs and wean the big egos out pretty quickly. Our motto is, if you can't change the people, change the people. The management might not spot these counterproductive behaviors. Okay, all right. Now, I need to talk about this, right? Because, yeah, let's try and explore all sides of this story, yeah? First up, how do I feel about this? There were so many things that was circulating around my head when I first saw this news, and I want to share the raw feelings, and then you guys be the judge as to what you think about this. And hopefully I can give you both sides of the coin on this one. When I first saw this news, I'm thinking, wow, like, Graham Potter, aren't you meant to be someone who's an expert in mentality? Like, you have a master's degree, apparently, when it comes to emotional intelligence, and you try and understand these players at a human level. You try and connect with them. Like, you have a master's degree. Why is there a need then for you to also get help for the mental side of the game? Like, I mean, are we now just delegating all his roles? Like, are we soon going to get a coach for the starting 11? Who picks the starting 11? Are we going to get a coach for in-game management? Are we going to get a coach for the coach himself? Like, it's moving in that manner. Look, too many chefs in the kitchen isn't always a great thing. These players are already feeling alienated with the new owners coming in, whole heap of things changing rapidly. And once again, I'm not blaming the owners. The owners, they're doing everything possible to make this a successful club and breed success. Yes, we've had problems with mentality. Many managers previously has complained about it, but there's so many people already. Like, honestly, I'm just thinking from my personal view. If I was to move into an office, if I was to go to my office and I see all of these people trying to give me information, trying to talk to me, and you know, you've got new medical staff, you've got new backroom staff, you've got now a mentality coach. My manager is also new. I'm going to be confused to a certain degree. I'm going to be confused. On top of that, there's Christopher Vevell, there's Paul Winstanley, there's this, like, from a hierarchy level as well, there's a whole heap of new people. Like, what isn't it Graham Potter's duty to as the quote said over here, wean out the egos? Like, why is that being outsourced? Isn't Graham Potter's duty to first come in, understand who's sort of what drives each of these players, understand them from a human level, from a personal level, and then figure out to weaning out the egos? Isn't it like, why is this getting outsourced? And on top of that, this is a short-term thing. Like, I could understand if this was a long-term appointment. It's a short-term consultancy-based role. What's that gonna do? It's like what Man United did with bringing in, what's that manager last season? Ralph Rangnick. It's like bringing in Ralph Rangnick as a consultancy, and very quickly they got rid of him to understand what's going on. Wasn't Ralph Rangnick there to figure out who are the issues and whatnot and report? I don't get it. So that's one side of the story when I'm like, Graham Potter, like, you need to start taking control of this team, my man. It's on you. You need to start imposing yourself on the team. Bringing in all these new other people on top of who we've already got. Bringing in another personnel. Honestly, I don't know how all of these players are going to take to this particular news. These players are human beings, man. And I'm not protecting the players, not one bit. Do what is best for the football club, of course. I think we are doing too much now. We are doing too much. To build a strong mentality, I feel like that comes from the manager. I know now, let's look at the other side. A lot of people are saying, Miz, successful organizations have, mental coach to look after the mental side of the things. Yeah, Graham Potter has too much on his plate. The squad is too big. We've brought in all these new players. He can't give his time to everyone. Why not get help? Are we already submitting to the fact that Graham Potter is not good enough to instill a strong mentality? When was the last time you've ever heard that Pep Guardiola has a mental coach on his side, or Jurgen Klopp has a mental coach on his side? Like these, and if we don't think Graham Potter is one day going to be a top level manager, then what's the point? What's the point? And this now leads me to the next side of the story, which is, and once again, before we go to the next side, which is the Luis Enrique news, let me know which side of the coin are you sitting on this one? Too many cooks in the kitchen, or this is a positive thing? This is a positive thing. I don't know. Only time will tell, I suppose. The next side of this whole story is this. Chelsea are open to hiring Luis Enrique if they choose to replace current head coach Graham Potter. Now, look, I know this is coming from a Spanish source, so there might not be any truth, but you best believe if results continue this way, and you can already see the new owners, they're doing everything possible to get success for Graham Potter, getting a mental coach as well. If results continue this way, you best believe Graham Potter is going to be under immense pressure. This guy, I don't mind, honestly. Hansi Flick, I don't mind as well. These are top-level managers. People get annoyed when they see Luis Enrique's name because of what happened recently in the World Cup. Don't just judge by recency bias. Have a look at his achievements. Have a look at his achievements in in world football, especially obviously with Barcelona. Cleaned up, absolutely cleaned up. One times FIFA World Cup winner, one times Champions League winner, 14-15. I know those times Barcelona were balling. They had one superstar named Lionel Messi in their team. But still, an achievement is an achievement. Two-time Spanish champions, 14-15, 15-16. One-time Super Cup winner, 15-16. One-time Spanish Super Cup winner, 16-17. Like, he knows how to win the big stuff. He knows how to win the big stuff. But I want to now share with you guys this whole concept about, being hell-bent on keeping a manager for a long term, for a long, prolonged period. I mean, we are so focused on process, trust the process, and we're so focused on a project, thinking once we get over this hurdle, that it's clear path. From there, it's forever success. I think, once again, I feel like that's a massive fantasy. Every season, you're going to have to somehow motivate players. It's difficult in this day and age. People are different now. Players are different. It's not the same players that we used to have back in those days. It's very difficult to keep people motivated for too long. People think we're going to be able to get a Sir Alex Ferguson type of, tenure with one of the Chelsea coach who's going to stay here for 10, 20, 25 years. It's difficult to keep managers motivated for that long. And as the video I'm going to share, what Yunus said, look at Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool, for instance. 7 years, 8 years in the helm? One Champions League, one Premier League to show. And now it's all falling apart. Pep Guardiola, that's a good one. He's been there for a long time. He's won 4 Premier Leagues, but hasn't won the Champions League. We, on the other hand, we've been chopping and changing. Do you know what I mean? Over the last 10 years, we've still won stuff. I don't know. And who is to say that Graham Potter is the right guy that's going to, see us through this project, this process, and then forever sustainability comes with Graham Potter? What makes us think that this is the guy? Yes, he's done well in Osterson. Yes, he's done well in Brighton. What makes us think that forever sustainability comes with Graham Potter? Every season, you think once the process is done, that's it. We don't need to motivate players anymore. We don't need to refresh the team anymore. We just let the club go on an auto run. Maybe sometimes change is good. Maybe the era of having one manager for too long just becomes stale. I'm just saying, I'm not saying to get rid of Graham Potter right now, but this whole idea of keeping Graham Potter for a very, very long period, I'm not really sure whether that is the way to go. Now, let's listen to what Yunus has to say over here, because it's quite interesting. Let me just put this on for you guys.
But what's happening? And then I want to ask the ultimate question, because I look back at Chelsea and I think, okay, it's clear that we're looking long term. And I'm not against that. As I've said, it's very, very smart to try and think about building something that's going to be sustainable and keep you at the top level, even if you're not winning week in, week out, but keep you at the top level, right? But is it a fantasy to expect that you can go through a process, right? Come out at the other end, show a bit of success and think, I've made it, and then just expect to stay there because you went through a process? Is that fantasy or reality? That's when I started thinking. And I was like, this would be a good debate, a good topic to talk about on a video, so you guys can get in the comments and share all your opinions and what you think. Because I look back at what is the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to try and be successful. The ultimate goal is to win and to be consistent with that. You don't want to win once and then fall off, right? You want to be consistent. as I've said yesterday and in prior videos, you want to not just win, but you want to always be in the conversation. We're talking about top tier teams here, top clubs, your Cities, your Liverpools, Chelseas, United. I'll leave them as we can't put them in that conversation, include them. But they're very fundamental as to why I'm having this debate in the first place, because Arsenal have a part to play. But the ultimate aim is to win. Ultimate aim is to be successful. And as I've said, you're always in that conversation, even if you do finish second or third or second, and you're there. You don't go below that. Fair enough, right? Then I started looking. The last 7 years where Klopp took his job at Liverpool, Pep took his job at City 6 years ago, but within that 7-year time frame, Arsenal and their process, and Chelsea and what we've accomplished, despite, changing managers every week.
And that, make sure you check that video out, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, make sure you check that out. And that is exactly what I was alluding to, that, and Yunus makes a really good point. Look at Arsenal's process under Arteta. It's not like they've won anything as yet. And there's no guarantee that even if they win the league this season, that they're going to keep winning even more stuff next season. I think it's only going to get harder for Arsenal. And if they don't keep backing Arteta, missing out on their first choice, then it's going to be a problem. When they wanted Caicedo, they ended up with Jorginho. These sort of moves will be a problem down the track. So, and have a look at what Chelsea has done in the last 7 years and what Arsenal has done in the last 7 years. And Arsenal, they've been part of this project for the last 3 years. So it's something to think about. And even with the Liverpool case, as I said, even after all of that process and project, one Premier League and one Champions League to show for in the last 7 years, 8 years. And now it's all crumbling down. And it's coming to a point where, Klopp's got to rebuild. Klopp's got to rebuild or get sacked, pretty much. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we want to talk about, so those two, please let me know about those two Chelsea-related news. The hiring of the mental coach. What do you think? Positive, negative, crazy? Please comment. And also the Luis Enrique and the long-termism, short-termism, motivation. Is it possible to keep a manager for that long and hope that sustainable success will always be there? Something to think about. Man City news, ladies and gentlemen. Premier League statement confirms Man City have been charged with numerous breaches of financial rules. Martin Ziegler now reports that Man City will not be able to appeal any sanctions to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, the one which overturned the UEFA ban. Look, these guys, I think this time around, they're in massive trouble. They're in massive trouble. This is Martin Ziegler. Breaking Man City charged by Premier League with numerous breaches of financial rules following of a 4-year investigation. This is unprecedented. I think it goes back to about last 10 seasons, something like that, with Man City. And it's been an investigation that's been going for 4 years. That's insane. And they've got over nearly 100 breaches they've found. They're going to be in trouble. I think they're going to be, unless Man City, with all the money that they have, the Arab money that they've got, can they get out of it just the way they got out of that UEFA ban recently? Can they do this with the Premier League? I don't know. I think this time around they could be in serious trouble. One to look out for. They could get points deducted this season. They could even be some retrospective punishment as well. I don't know. Can you imagine all the Premier Leagues they won in the last 10 years? Getting point deductions on those. What a change in the spectrum that's going to be for Liverpool, massively. So let's see where this goes. But I think Man City are in massive trouble. And Pep Guardiola, there's a clip of him circulating around saying that one of the biggest reasons why he stuck around at Man City was because people told him that they've done nothing wrong. They've not cheated. And he said, if he finds out that they've cheated through all of this, then the very next day he's going to go. A lot of people are getting excited that maybe that's the one that, top bowler should be aiming for. Someone like Pep Guardiola to Chelsea. I'd lose my mind if Pep Guardiola came to Chelsea. I think that would be unbelievable. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, is Jesse Marsch. Jesse Marsch has just been sacked by Leeds United. Decision made after the recent negative results. Confirmed Leeds board now working on new head coach appointment. My only regret about this whole thing is these guys beat us 3-0, man. I wish he stuck around so we could take some revenge, but I don't know what revenge we'd take anyway. But yeah, some people are saying the American Frank Lampard. Look, Premier League is tough, man. And even Leeds, look at them. Chopping and changing managers. They're in trouble. They're in big trouble. But maybe this change of manager could get them kick-started and not get relegated. I think they're on level points maybe with Everton. Everton could leapfrog them. It's pretty mad. Everton were smack bang in the bottom, and now they could leapfrog them and get out of that relegation zone, and then we'll put Leeds back into it. But it's crazy. They're facing Man United next. Man United, I don't know. Could there be a new manager bounce? I'm not really sure whether they're going to appoint someone, but yeah, yet another manager departs from the Premier League, and this was probably coming. Leeds' results have been very, very poor. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know how you felt about everything that we've talked about today. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe. Hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Till next time. See ya.